out a bit, I added notepad, but of course there's not a serious option. But there's also a button a custom editor, and it opens the file browser.
It will, if you choose a custom editor, it will show in the menu then later.
What happens is that this LaTeX editor, that is whatever editor is configured as the default. So now in that picture it's TeXowe, but if you
choose something else, then it will show up there.
The picture, the icon changes, but it's still named LaTeX editor. So, well, if you have somewhere a copy of Vim or Emacs, then you can pick that one. Now about the INI file. The two obvious things you define in INI file are file associations, so which program opens TeX files, and well, the menus and buttons are also defined in the INI file, and in the TeXlive installer has options for whether or not you want that TeXlive is added to the search path, and whether or not what you want to do with file types, either nothing at all, or just create a file association if there is none, or just create a file association whatever there is at the moment. Not new and always but it's in fact a two-step process. You can associate an extension with something which is called a file type, and that file type that has an item there's a command associated with to open files. So this is how you can code file type associations in the INI file. It is a conventional INI file because each section has a name in square brackets and then a series of assignments. And it starts with ST, that means that the section is a file type definition, and it needs at least two entries, namely a comma, and which extensions it applies to. Well, so if there is an existing program such as Notepad, you can create a new file type for it, so you can leave the original file type alone. Menus can be several things. You can just enter a command, and you see here an expression between a percent size, that's Windows the command line notation for environment variables. They are also here also used as variables. And TR root, that's the root of the TeXlive installation that's computed by the Windows. And you see also a version in between, percent size is also computed by the launcher. So you can use the same file from one year to the next if you want to. There's an item that starts with foo, and it's a function, built-in function of the launcher, and trip is one of those. So you can use you can reuse file type definitions for a menu item. Here. And you can also make use of the file associations that Windows has already built in. So for PDS I use SO entries, and that SO is short for shell object, and that means that the fact that Windows knows how to open such a file. So that may be a pre-existing file association. So I'll just tell it what file to open. And buttons are the same story. There are here you see two additional functions. Default editor that starts up the configured default, and view editor select, and I'll already show you that now. And there's a general section, and that's those options which are also in the normal TeXlive installer. And I've added some facilities in to the launcher that you can bypass a lot of the Windows-specific code that's written, that's currently in the TeXlive install. So let's we may consider replacing, making the launcher the only option. And there's also a script T-launch mode which turns launcher mode on and off. An advantage of the launcher over the classical installation is that because of that, for guest option, it's easy to switch between different tech installations. And the problem that still would have to be solved is localization. A lot of localization is just implicit in the ini file, but there are some more text strings which need to be localized somehow. But that could be done. And now I already showed you this screenshot with another editor, and with the editor selection dialog, and with Rijks. Well, so it's some sort of really big LaTeX editor, and JavaRef, which is a Java-based bibliography manager. And underneath is a text string which you can also define an ini file. This is good for announcements. So I added two editors, Text Studio and Technic Center. Technic Center, that was is a long time part of our tech installation, and I retained it for historical reasons, not to force people to change editor because it's something most people really don't like. Well, I already mentioned LaTeX, and there's also Sumatra PDF. That's a nice lightweight PDF viewer, and it Technic Center knows implements the synchronization if it finds Sumatra PDF. Well, so this is what the editor choice looks like with our installation. If you define the custom editor, that will be the fourth entry and come here. The viewer's menu has the extra item for Sumatra PDF. Tools menu is especially notable for what it does not contain, namely the TeXlive manager and the uninstall options. You can only redo the settings and remove the settings. Well, the other things are supposed to be managed by me and not by the users. Documentation. There's also documentation for the house style, and there's also my LaTeX tutorial which I made for the university.
And I think this what is meant by practice file.
Oh, it's a zip file with
examples.
Yeah. And how do I get those extras in? Well, I just install it on a Scratch system, and then I copy the directory to the installation, and often that's all that needs to be done. But sometimes you want to do some fixes. And for instance, LaTeX, when LaTeX starts up for the first time, it spends minutes to figure out what's on the system and what of these things it can use. So to speed that up, I copy the pre-made configuration to the user's directory, and then it starts up in a more normal time. For Sumatra PDF, I needed the registry entry to make sure that it knows it's not a portable installation and that it should store its settings under the user's profile and not in the Sumatra PDF directory. And Text Studio and Sumatra PDF normally check whether there's a new release, and I don't want that either. So I needed to do some hacking of the configuration file. Well, Technic Center was a bit complicated, but I once made the effort to redo the configuration that it would, well, Technic Center works well with Mica, but for TeXlive you have to put in a lot of, you have to answer many awkward questions. So I reverse engineered the Mica configuration, and once I had done it, I kept it around as long as Technic Center. And TeXworks steals some dictionaries from other editors. They seem you have to be in the user profile. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Well, this might be. And there's also an option you can also configure that it does some extra processing during initialization. And that's the whole laundry list from the previous slide. And then it shows the output of all that configuration. And in this case it's a long story, so you get the scrollable text box. But otherwise it's simply a message box. And you can also configure something similar for to do before cleanup. Well, of course, reality is never as nice as it is in theory. For instance, a long-standing problem of Windows is that these file type associations are that's the one thing that does not roam. You have to make them new on every other new workstation that you work on. Well, with our desktop management software, it is not a problem. But if you just have roaming profiles, then you need something, and I have a solution in mind that I plan to implement. So, for an update. And well, from time to time, the file association situation becomes more convoluted. And nowadays there are also user choice file associations. And I think we need to be an administrator to override those. They do run, I don't know. Anyhow, I decided to leave them alone. So even the normal file associations, I try to set right. But if you have such an override, then you have to right-click a file and then open with, and that's what then you want to see the programs that are configured for that right. And then Windows 10 also does weird things with what it does and with what it does not show in the start menu. And if you try to uninstall, if you install the program as a user, then you try is to uninstall it via settings and apps and features, then you get a UAC prompt which does not apply at all. And if the administrator is another person, then no,
so it hangs.
what?
It hangs then.
What?
What happens? It doesn't work anymore.
Well, it looks in the wrong place, but well, before the creators update, it was still possible to use the control panel, and then things worked all right. And well, if you're lucky, it's still uninstall or forget is still is visible in the settings menu. It is visible in the start menu. So in most cases there's something you can do. And plus you can do the forget problems are due to the DNS system. There are file extensions that you cannot configure, that the rest will always override. And if I want to switch from one release to the other, the only way that it seems to work is that I just tell the IT people that they have to switch, and then that's for everybody at once, that they cannot cannot do it or, at the moment that they choose themselves. Plus, there may be glitches in the REST system, and then old settings may keep getting in the way. Plus, the user search path doesn't work in the REST. I mean, the registry entry is there, but it's ignored by all other programs. For the GUI programs which come with TeXowe is not a problem because they use wrapper which sets the search path. If the program started from the launcher, it's not a problem either because then it will have the right search path. For TeX Studio, I wrote a small wrapper myself. And Technic Center uses registry settings and doesn't use the search path. And well, for some things, some things have to be done by the IT people. What? Okay. Well, here's it's all on C10, and you can from C10 you can also read the manual, and it describes the ini file in more detail, and also other questions.
Are there problems in daily exploitation of the people move between stations really? What new other problems creep up?
Well, the rest system takes care of the file associations, but no, that's not very problematic. Well, students don't have their own computer, so they rely on those own files working right.
Private files?
They have a network drive letter to store them, so that those are accessible from any workstation.
Yeah, I see you miss 2 programs in your list.
What?
First, I see you don't have 2 programs in your list. First, you don't use Acrobat. I think that some users who have beamers and want to do something like files and overlays, unfortunately they probably need Acrobat.
Yeah, Sumatra does it better, and Sumatra is much better because it actualizes the PDF, and with Acrobat you have to close Acrobat and open it after each
So you
completion.
can do with Sumatra. And second, strange enough, but there is Emacs for Windows, and some users might want it, so I wonder whether you want to add Emacs as an editor for you in your list.
Now, people who like Emacs probably install their own version. And they can put the editor choice lets them pick Emacs as their favorite editor.
Okay, so we are going to the next, please. Thank you very much. This will be part of the future tech live. The moment. So now the guest from one of the guests that came from the furthest locations Konfigurator presents the development for TeXlive utility format utilities update map. Past, future, and changes.
Yeah, thanks, Moitze, for the introduction. Those who have been here last year might have realized that I complained a bit about my job situation. It has changed a bit since half a year. I work now not at the university, I work in an internet content delivery network company in Tokyo. Well, I don't live in Tokyo, but anyway. And so, yeah, they were so nice to let me come here. It's also a good thing. So the title, past and future changes are cleaning up the mess. Anyway, well, once upon a time, there was just only up-to-date info. It's a long time ago. I mean, some of you might remember. And the world was good at one, and well, then came the Swiss scripts. Well, what I want to do, what does these two scripts, what do they do? Who knows it? Half of them. It's not bad. Okay. Probably a bit less than half of you will know that we have now multi-layer configuration files. That was a change that was introduced for update maps quite some time ago, and for the format definitions last year. And I will repeat up to how we were working, or how the scripts were working up to TeXowe 2016, and then why we felt so much pain about it, and what will be the new way in 2017, and then I have my secret item also. Anyway, okay, what does update map do? For those who don't know, font setups for all kinds of engines or drivers is a real pain, and there are so many levels that this all has to be stuff. So we have on the lowest level we have a font definition. Yeah? There's this strange TeX. What TeX uses internally this code, and it maps to a font name. This is on the very basic level, and therefore normally packages like font packages ship a lot of these font definitions for the fonts to ship in a file, a font map file. So this font map file is a collection of these font definitions. So for example, if you install whatever, one of the fonts we saw during all these conferences, and they're in TeXlive, and you get a file with, it's normally called, like the font name .map, and inside there are a lot of lines about the font map. Now, that doesn't help, because the driver will not, what I'm talking about, PDF TeX, PDF TeX, DVI PDFMX, DVI PS, what did I forget? Yeah, I think that are more or less. Those programs need to know how to associate one is internal TeX file name with an actual file in the system. So now, which of these font maps are actually used? There is a configuration file. This is this update map config file that lists all these font map files, not the actual fonts, just the